In today's video, we're going to work on solving this double summation. So the first thing we want to do is solve the inner summation. So I'm going to write the inner summation, which is the summation of p minus k from k equals 1 all the way up until 5. So this is going to be equal to the summation of p from k equals 1 to 5 minus the summation of k from k equals 1 to 5. So why don't we go ahead and first solve the summation of p from k equals 1 to 5. And in order to use this, we can use this formation formula right here, which says that if we have some summation, let's say a, starting from I equals 1 up until some integer n, then this is just going to be equal to n times a. And here we have some constant p times 5. So this whole summation is going to be equal to 5 times p, or 5p. So this summation is going to equal 5 times p, just like we had n times a here. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this and replace it with 5p. So 5 times p, we're going to erase it, and we know that that is going to be equal to 5p. So here we go, 5p. And now we're left with the summation of this, and then we have to take this and subtract it with the summation of this. So why don't we work for this one? Whenever we have our counter, our lower limit counter, the initial counter, and that is what our summation is being, that is a summation being done, then we can use this simple formula. So I'm going to write a different formula. That is I equals 1, and then I all the way up to some n. This is going to be equal to n times n plus 1 over 2. So in this situation, our n is 5, so it is going to be equal to 5 times 5 plus 1 over 2. And we can say 5 plus 1 equals 6. So I'm going to erase this and go ahead and write 6. And then we can divide both sides by 2. So dividing 2 by 2 will give you 1. Dividing 6 by 2 will give you 3. And we're left with 5 times 3 over 1, which of course equals 15. So I'm going to go ahead and we now know that this summation is going to be equivalent to 15. So I'm going to erase this summation and instead just put 15. Here we go. And we have 15. So we have figured out, that is a terrible 5, 15. So we figured out that this inner summation is going to be equivalent to 5p minus 15. In other words, the summation of p minus k from k equals 1 to 5 is going to be equal to 5p minus 15. So I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite our initial problem, but I'm going to replace this inner summation with what we know it to be. So we are going to have, this is going to be equal to p equals 1 up until 2, and then we are going to every time want to do 5p minus 15. Alright, so we are getting closer to solving our problem. Now we're simply left with the summation of 5p minus 15 from p equals 1 to 2. And I'm going to erase this work to give us more space to work with. Okay, so the question is, how can we solve this 5p minus 15 from p equals 1 to 2? Well, we know that we can write equals 1. We know that 5p minus 15 from p equals 1 to 2 is going to be equivalent to 5, sorry about that, to 5p from p equals 1 to 2 minus the summation of 15 from p equals 1 to 2. And we can easily solve this summation. Again, it is right here. We have a constant, we have p equals 1, and then we have some upper limit. It is just going to be our upper limit times our constant. So this summation is going to equal 30. I'm going to go ahead and erase this one right here and replace it with 30. And now we are left with just this summation to calculate. So we have some constant times p. This is going to be equivalent to, I'm going to rewrite it. So this p equals 1 to 2, 5p. This is going to be equivalent to 5 times the summation. Go ahead and write it times the summation of p from p equals 1 to 2. Hopefully this is very easy to understand for you guys. So why don't we first work on this one right here. Again, we have our initial counter is what's being operated on. So we have the summation of p, which is our counter, from p equals 1 to 2. We can use this formula again to solve it. So this is going to be equivalent to 2 plus 1 over 2. So 2 times 2 plus 1 over 2, and we can simply just simplify, and it is equivalent to 2 plus 3 over 1, which is equivalent to 3. So we now know that this summation is going to be equivalent to 3. So I'm going to go ahead and erase it and instead put 3, and we are left with 5 times 3, which equals, of course, 15. So we know that the summation of 5 times p from p equals 1 to 2 is going to be equal to 15. So I'm going to erase this and just replace it with what we know the value to be, 15. So we have that, 15. And finally, we are left with the answer, which is 5p minus 15 from p equals 1 to 2 is going to be equal to 15 minus 30, which of course is going to be equal to negative 15. Negative 15. And that is our answer. So I hope you enjoyed this video. There's a lot of summation formulas that can help you whenever it seems complicated at first. You can break it down using algebraic rules that you learn in grade school, and then solve the small pieces of summations to solve the more complicated, complex summation. See you guys.